make sure my sound is working. Yep, and as you guys come in, you can just hop on. You're welcome to share your video or mute your video, and then I'm gonna have a Q&A portion kind of towards the end of this here. So if you guys do have questions, you can just save those for the end. Hopefully this is working well here. Gonna give everybody a second to hop on. All right. And if you guys have questions, you can just drop them down below in the chat. I'm going to pull that back up at the end of this here so I can answer any questions you guys may have. But yeah, really looking forward to walking you guys through this. Hopefully you walk away learning something today. I will do a little intro on myself. Obviously, you guys probably know by now, my name is Molly. I work with executives to help them lower their body fat percentages and get into optimal shape, even in the context of an executive lifestyle. So we're going to be talking more specifically about nutrition today. This is a 3-day masterclass. This is the first day. I'm really excited to be able to spend some time with you guys and dive a little bit deeper on my process and the method that I use for executives. Talk about some of the ways that you can overcome probably some of the challenges that you have as an executive, whether it's eating out, not having a lot of free time, or maybe just having above average expectations for the shape that you want to get into for yourself. So what we're going to talk about today, again, is more on the nutrition side of things. And just to make sure that this is going to be useful for you, you're in the right place if you want a clear path for reaching fitness goals. So I know that, obviously we're out here on social media. There's a lot of theories. There's a lot of research, a lot of articles these days telling you what, the next best diet is to try. And it can become very overwhelming with almost too much information. And it can be hard to sift through, what is the real stuff, what's worth paying attention to and what's not. Okay. This is also the right place for you if you're someone who values both your long-term health and also your current physique. I know a lot of the executives I work with, some people need to lose 30 to 50 pounds. Other people are just struggling to get the last 10 to 15 pounds off to get a really nice shape. Okay. This is for you if you want to lower your body fat percentage and create better muscle definition. Not just about the number on a scale dropping. I know I hear a lot of the people I end up working with really want an improved shape. They want to be more fit, and it's not just about seeing the scale go down. This is for you if you want noticeable changes. Okay. So like being able to wear clothes from the fitter side of your closet, being able to notch down your belt a little bit. I know a lot of the people I work with want a tighter midsection specifically, not just losing weight in general, but like a smaller waist. And you want to be able to lose weight from your trouble spots, again, like your waist. This is also for you if getting back into shape used to be easier. I know a lot of people that I work with have been they're ex-athletes now in a corporate job. And obviously that means you need a different kind of game plan if that's you. So, you might have noticed when you were younger or when your thing was just focusing on sports, it was easy to get in shape. But maybe as you've gotten older, you're noticing that it's a little bit more challenging. Okay. Also, if you just want a plan that is good for you and that is made for you to help you get into better shape as you get older, this is going to help you know how to do that. Also, if you value holistic health because of what it represents, if you're in a leadership position, that people look up to you, whether it's your team at work or it's your family, your kids, your grandkids, maybe your partner, if you are in a leadership position, it's a good thing to not just be in shape, but to know how to be in shape, right? To be educated on it and to really understand what it takes to be in good shape and good health, because other people are looking to you to represent leadership values like that, right? Also, just having more self-respect, if you're someone who has been in great shape before, or you have what it takes to be in great shape, if you're currently not in the shape you want to be in, then you're probably leaving a lot on the table. And I want to teach you what strategy will work to help you get into better shape. Okay. This is also for you if you're looking for a strategy that works with your lifestyle. It's very important. Again, there's a lot of diets out there. You see a lot of before and afters, a lot of testimonials, and some things may work temporarily. I'm going to dive into why certain things may have worked temporarily for you in terms of diet, but ideally you need something that is not just going to work temporarily, but also long-term, right? if you're going to invest in this, you deserve to keep the results for life. So anyway, whatever strategy you use, obviously, if you live the executive lifestyle, it has to work for long days at the office, has to work with travel, business dinners, and eating out, because that's just part of your lifestyle. So very important that you use a strategy that works around those things. Okay. All right. So as far as my goal and what I want you to take away from this masterclass is, I'd like to show you a science-backed practical roadmap, okay, that you can follow to break weight loss plateaus, lower your body fat percentage, build better muscle definition, and keep a lean physique year round, even in the context of a busy executive lifestyle. A lot of times I feel like people think that they have to choose between, fulfilling executive duties at work or spending time getting in shape. And that's not true when you have the right strategy. Okay. So again, I don't want you to have to spend all of your free time in the gym or cut out all your favorite foods. With the right strategy, those two things are not necessary. All right. Again, maybe some of you know me, some of you might not know part of my background, but my name is Molly Van Marth, and my love for fitness and health actually came from overcoming eating disorders in my teens. That's what led me to learn more about fitness, learn more about how lean muscle is built in a sustainable way. Very passionate about the science part of this, how really learning how the human body works so that you can still enjoy a flexible eating style and get into great shape. And that's where my love for flexible dieting came from, which is great for executives. You guys need a flexible diet, whether that's something you just want for yourself. It's really something that you're going to have just considering what your lifestyle is like and what your work schedule is like. In my early 20s, I had back-to-back babies, and this is really where my love for a time-condensed gym strategy came from. What's neat is that if you are approaching your fitness routine from a strategic perspective and you know the elements that are really important to have in an effective gym routine, you don't have to spend 7 days a week in the gym to be in really excellent shape, but you do need the right style of workouts. And we're actually going to talk about workouts on day 2. This is day 1. We're going to focus more on diet with this presentation, but anyway, that's where that came from. Also, I started off as an in-person trainer. People sometimes wonder how I ended up with the online consulting model that I use today. I started off as an in-person trainer at a luxury health club here in Nashville. And a lot of the people that went there were ex-athletes, local business owners, and executives. So a lot of the people that I work with currently online, they were the clientele that were going to that gym. And I saw where the gaps in support were. Number one, a lot of those types of people travel all the time. And so if you are tied to an in-person trainer, you're going to have a lot of gaps in support. And that's just not ideal for you if you're an executive. And then also a even bigger piece of the puzzle was missing because, there was no support with nutrition. And if you are someone who wants to be in great shape, wants to be toned, and you want a good physique, you absolutely have to understand what to do with nutrition. And so you can't just work out a ton and get there. Okay. Nutrition is 80% of the picture. And that's part of what I love helping my clients learn more about. Right. Like I said, I've used a fully virtual consulting model since 2017. I've worked with a lot of executives. And again, my main area of expertise is helping you guys lose body fat, tone up, and regain energy. Okay. So you're not sacrificing your energy and performance for a better body. Obviously that's not possible with what your careers are. Okay. Also, I've worked with a lot of executives. I've been doing this for a while. So a lot of the resources, tools, and strategies that I teach are built for the executive lifestyle because that's who I've been working with for many years now. Have worked with executives from companies like McKinsey and Company, Deloitte, Jack in the Box, Morgan Stanley, Booz Allen Hamilton, Tractor Supply Co., HCA Healthcare, and others. Okay. These are my kiddos, Tegan and Kieran. They're great. Keep me on my toes. All right. And then just giving you guys a quick glimpse at what this looks like. We're going to touch back on a few of these stories as we go through the trainings here. But this is my client, Brad. He dropped 19 pounds in the first 3 weeks. Obviously, that doesn't happen that way for everybody, but you guys need to know that weight loss can be very quick. What the bigger piece of this puzzle for him was that he was not hungry while we were doing this. And I'm going to teach you how you can take this approach to losing weight. If you're not using the right foods, it can be very challenging to lose weight. You can be really hungry in the process. And obviously that's not something we want. So it was big for him because he also travels almost every week. He juggles multiple businesses and is just a really busy guy. So This is Daniel. We're going to talk about him a little bit more later. He dropped over 40 pounds as a business owner with a family, and he's never been in this shape before until now. So he's in the best shape of his life after 40. And he was also able to still eat Sonic Blast while achieving this transformation. Again, I'm big on flexible dieting because that's just part of life. This is Eddie. He is a former minor league baseball player, and he is now the president at a pretty large logistics company. He dropped 20 pounds in 10 weeks, lost a lot of fat around his waist, which was his goal. And this was, again, without being hungry. And he also worked out from home. So we used an entirely home gym setup for him. He was previously trying a lot of cardio and recognized that that was not the solution for him. This is my client, Andrew. He lost 15 pounds in 8 weeks and also stopped overeating at night. Had a lot of long work days in there, also has a family, so super busy guy. He's a sales executive, and we were able to come up with a plan to help him achieve those results. This is Bill. Bill is a great example of what it looks like when you try to lose weight on your own in the wrong way versus using a strategic plan. So he is an ex D1 athlete turned executive with a family. He's a COO. And before, he had already dropped 20 pounds on this side. He had dropped 20 pounds on his own, but he was working out 7 days a week and eating extremely clean. And he felt like he was losing weight, but not toning up. And he really wanted better muscle definition. So that's what we were able to achieve for him. He had also hit a plateau here and wasn't really sure where to go because he was already eating extremely clean and working out 7 days a week. So we were able to actually cut back on his gym time. We were able to add lean muscle, help him drop more body fat, and also he dropped another 23 pounds on the scale. So he was also getting stronger as he was losing weight. So that was a double benefit there. This is Jock. Jock is a multiple business owner. And he actually already knew a lot about health and fitness, like very active in the biohacking space. And was also just a very active guy in general. So did a lot of martial arts, was doing a sort of DIY fitness routine on his own before he started working with me. And we were able to create a custom plan to help him lose the belly weight. He really wanted, a flatter stomach and just to be more fit overall. So we were able to do that. And this is his, this is a pretty quick transition here for him. Okay. And this is Steve. Steve is a managing director at Morgan Stanley, and he was able to drop 2 belt notches for him. So again, losing weight around his waist. And what's great for him is he's gaining strength and losing body fat, still working with him currently, but he's gaining strength and losing body fat in the process. And another great thing is that we were able to reduce the amount of time he was spending in the gym. So a lot of this, as you'll see, and what I'm going to teach you guys today is really more about how you can spend less time in the gym, how to micromanage your diet less, but get better results. Okay. And obviously his schedule requires him to, travel a lot and eat out a lot. This is Carlos, last person here, you guys. Carlos gained lean muscle and lost 16 pounds of body fat, and he's in his 70s. He was doing a ton of cardio when we started working together, and we actually reduced the amount of cardio that he was doing and gave him a custom tailored plan to help him recover better and spend less time in the gym, but get better results. Okay. And he travels weekly. He's back and forth constantly between Colorado and Miami. And he also manages the largest public hospital system in the country. So super busy guy, but we were able to come up with a plan for him. Okay. Here's the good stuff. So for this masterclass, again, this is going to be a 3-day masterclass. This is day 1. So today we're talking about Prohormone Nutrition. We're going to talk about how to eat more foods to automatically lower hunger, reduce your body fat. I know a lot of you guys are really wanting to improve your BMI, improve your body mass index, or lower your body fat so that you can see better muscle definition. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to make your body work for you, not against you, by leveraging the right foods. Day 2 is going to be about fitness, more about workouts. So we're going to talk about time condensed training formulas, also how to generate better muscle definition, lose the midsection weight, and cut your workout time in half. And then day 3 is going to be overcoming lifestyle challenges. So, as an executive, again, you probably have great health and fitness goals carved out, but it may be challenging to know how to execute the right plan within your lifestyle. So I'm going to talk about that, talk about resources that may be helpful for you if you travel a lot and you have to eat out a lot. And we're also going to talk about stress, and stress is starting to become one of the biggest pillars that I help my clients know how to manage. You need to know that it can have serious effects on your body composition and can really work in reverse against your goals if you are not managing stress properly. So sometimes as an executive, it can be really easy to focus on, how hard you can diet and how hard you can work out, but you need to recognize that you need to be managing stress properly too. Otherwise, all your work with dieting and all your work in the gym is not going to show up if you've got stress counteracting your efforts. Anyway, with all that to say, let's jump into it. All right. So first of all, I'm curious if any of you have had initial success with a diet, but then eventually stopped seeing results or have fallen off the diet. Okay. Curious what diets you guys have tried. I'm going to cover some of the popular diets that I hear about a lot. And I'm going to explain why they often don't work or don't work long term. Also want you to think about why you've stopped a diet in the past or why you've fallen off. Again, sometimes it's because the diet stops working and you stop seeing results. Other times it's more because of lifestyle factors. You might have noticed that a diet was not practical with eating out or eating while traveling or even just eating meals as a family. Also, I want you to ask yourself if it's gotten harder to diet or see results over time. Again, there are often reasons for that. I want to make sure I'm not missing questions if any of you have them. All right. So as far as why your last diet that you tried failed long-term, first of all, if that's happened to you, you're not alone. In fact, over 95% of diets fail long-term. So what this tells us is that standard approaches are not working. And even for driven executives, a lot of times when I talk to executives, you guys have really genuinely tried your hardest to execute a plan properly, but even if you are executing it correctly, it might stop working over time. And again, there is a reason for that. So, what we're looking for is results immediately, but also results in the long term. So, a big difference between a diet that works temporarily and a diet that works for life. Now, you guys, I love to explain why things work and why they don't. So, if you have tried any of these diets, I want you to know that there's a reason why it worked initially and then stopped working. If you look at all of these different diets, and most people can sort of categorize themselves in one of these four categories. If you've tried intermittent fasting, that is basically focusing on having an eating window versus a fasting window. Many people end up skipping breakfast with this one. Okay. The real way that this helps people lose weight most of the time is that it's really just removing about a third of the calories from your diet. Okay. If you remove breakfast, you've just got lunch and dinner, you've removed calories, and people lose weight that way. If you've ever tried keto before, obviously you remove carb containing foods. You're just eating more protein and fats. And in that way, you can cut calories by ditching all of the foods that used to be carbs in your diet. If you've ever tried eating really clean, so like unprocessed foods, you could also call that paleo or Whole30. I'm sure there's other words for this type of diet, but just removing all processed foods from your diet. Again, if you take away all of the snacks that you were eating from your pantry or all of the, processed packaged foods you used to grab in the airport, shop at little shops there, obviously that's going to reduce your calories. So, that is another way of essentially lowering your calories to lose weight. Are you guys seeing a theme here? I know also a lot of the clients I've worked with have tried meal prep companies before, whether it's something that you go pick up locally or you have sent to your house. This can be really appealing because executives don't have time to think about what to eat. So this seems like an answer because it's, food that's being brought to you or sent to your house. But a lot of times things are not optimized. And really all that this is doing is just, again, lowering your calories because your portion sizes are controlled. There's different issues with all of these diets, but a lot of times if you end up having to eat out, and you have social events, this type of diet does not work for you. And again, what I want you guys to see with all of these methods is that they all focus on calorie cutting pretty much by itself in order to help you lose weight. And while that may seem like an answer, it's actually exactly the reason that they fail long-term and honestly result in rebound weight gain and other negative effects long-term if all you're doing is focusing on cutting calories. Okay. So again, all these diets rely on cutting calories, and another bigger factor that is not going to work long-term here is that you're cutting out normal foods that you would typically eat. What if you're someone who enjoys breakfast, right? What if you're someone who likes to be able to eat bread and carbs? What if you don't want to have to just eat food that is, part of your meal prep system? What if you want to be able to eat out here and there? What if you want to be able to eat with your family? Okay. So these are two issues. And again, those are the ways that those diets help you lose weight. So getting a little bit more specific here as far as why that doesn't work. So cutting calories by itself is not effective for fat loss because hunger isn't managed. And essentially, that is a setup for rebound weight gain further down the line. And that is because we have survival mechanisms built into our bodies. You probably wish they weren't, but this is how this works. I have this little illustration over here to kind of show you guys what happens. We have a hormone in our bodies called ghrelin. Ghrelin is our hunger hormone, and it is inversely related to calorie intake and body weight. All that means is that if you go on a diet where you're just cutting calories, as you cut calories and as time goes on and as you lose weight, ghrelin, your hunger hormone, will rise. This creates a huge problem for continuing the process of weight loss because you're going to be extremely hungry the further you get into the process. And this goes for whether you're trying to lose 30 to 50 pounds or if you're just trying to get the last 10 off. Okay. So a lot of times people do okay in the beginning. And then as they get further into the diet and they lose more weight and they get closer to their goals, ghrelin rises and they don't know why, but they end up eating everything back. Okay. This is what creates, I call this the U-turn effect. All right. So if you've ever been on the yo-yo cycle of, weight loss, weight regain, weight loss, weight regain, you feel like you can't get past a certain point and reach your goals. This is why hunger is not being managed. All right. Second reason, cutting calories is again not a wise approach long term, is because you're cutting out normal food. And this really doesn't work. Again, if you're an executive and you've got business dinners or you go to conferences, week-long conferences where there's a lot of meals that you're eating together at the event, it's not going to work if you're supposed to follow an extremely restricted diet. Okay. Again, creates conflicts in all sorts of scenarios, whether you're at the office, on the road, and you might need to grab fast food here or there. You might need to get something from an airport and you might need options there. If you're eating out of a hotel or having a business dinner, this is going to create problems if you're on an extremely rigid diet. Number 3, these diets are muscle wasting. You need to know that cutting calories without optimizing other things within your diet is actually going to create a huge problem that essentially harms your metabolism and makes you have a worse physique over time because you are losing muscle. This is an image from Lane Norton's book, Fat Loss for Life, I believe it's called. Basically, they've done studies. If you've ever felt like you've lost weight and every time you go through a cycle of weight loss and weight regain, it seems way easier to regain the weight and then way harder to lose it the next time, there is a scientific reason for that. And part of it goes back to the fact that you are losing muscle when you cut calories and you're not optimizing for retaining muscle as you lose weight. Okay. So if you cut calories and you lose muscle as you're losing body fat, again, sometimes people call that being skinny fat. If you've ever seen the scale go down, but you feel like you're not seeing things tone up, this is likely what's happening. That's from cutting calories, again, without having an optimized diet in some other places. So using these methods, every time weight is lost, muscle is lost too, and this lowers your BMR or metabolism. Not good. And that's what contributes to the rapid weight regain when you gain it back. And that's not good. So basically what all of this means is the longer you yo-yo diet and you focus on just calorie cutting to lose weight, the worse your body composition becomes. You're going to be softer over time, also have a slower metabolism, and rebound weight gain is faster and faster with each cycle. So not good. So what's the solution? Obviously, at this point, you guys are probably like, okay, I understand that cutting calories and these, trending popular diets are not the solution, but what is? Prohormone Nutrition basically refers to the approach that I teach my clients. And what we do is I teach them how to eat more foods that automatically lower your hunger, reduce body fat, support muscle definition. Again, that's important so that you're not ruining your physique and your metabolism as you lose weight, and make your body work for you, not against you. You guys need to know that not all weight loss is the same. Not all diets are the same. If you go about this in a strategic way, it can be great. And if you go about it in, sort of a work harder, not smarter way, it can be really miserable and also can leave you worse off than when you started. So if you're someone who has tried for a while and it's not working, I really encourage you to be more strategic with your next shot at this. Now, first of all, when we were talking about Prohormone Nutrition, why is this type of approach so successful long-term? Part of it is just because it's a science-backed approach, I'm going to show you guys how you can use food to your advantage to get into better shape. I'm going to show you what foods to choose and stuff like that. But also just from a psychological standpoint, when we're talking about something being successful long term, you have to think about also like the mental stress it's going to cause or not cause as you follow that approach. So when we're talking about prohormone nutrition, the idea is that you eat more of the right foods that get your body into better shape. Okay. So when I'm telling you to focus on eating more of the right foods, that's a positive focus. Things are being framed in a positive way, right? Kind of like a positive feedback loop. So if you think about the other diets that are more restrictive, so keto, intermittent fasting, paleo, whatever, a lot of those diets are telling you to focus on what you're not supposed to eat. It's kind of like telling a kid that they can't have candy. Like kids are going to want candy more if all you're telling them is don't eat the candy, right? Um, it's the same with diets. So if you're constantly focused on not having carbs, you're probably going to constantly be thinking about carbs. If you tell yourself that you cannot have any processed food, you're probably going to be really missing all the processed treats you used to have. So it's really just not a wise way to approach dieting in general. It's very stressful. And if you're an executive, you don't need more stress added to your life. And it's just not necessary. So way better results long term to be focused on the foods that help your body work for you, not against you, right? Um, Really simple ways of demonstrating that concept. If you're going to meditate, you're going to meditate on the things that you do want, not the stuff you don't want. Same with playing sports. Keep your eye on the ball. We gravitate towards what we focus on. So might as well be focusing on the right foods instead of not eating the wrong foods. Most importantly, and I want you guys, if there's anything that you take away from this training, it is that your plan will be unique to you. And if you try to use something generic or for someone else, it will not work. You will absolutely end up working harder, not smarter. So I'm going to show you guys examples of how I use prohormone nutrition with my clients, and you're going to see that this is very much individualized. And I want you to know that so that you don't go about this trying to use another generic approach, not see complete results or not be able to retain your results and then blame yourself. I don't want you to do that. Okay. So again, you should only be focusing on what you need to be eating more of in your diet. This is different for everyone depending on your goals and where you are currently making mistakes. Focusing on the wrong foods will cost you time and will not be effective. And again, if you're going through yo-yo diets of constantly gaining and losing and regaining weight, you're going to end up worse off than when you started because your body keeps score of that. If you feel like you have to work, if you're wondering if you're making these mistakes or not, if you feel like you have to work really hard to see any changes, you are likely trying to fix something that isn't broken for you. Okay. So prohormone nutrition has you focusing on the foods that you should be focusing on in order to fix what's not working in your diet. Okay. And the way that I make sure my clients, again, anyone I'm working with, the way that I make sure they're focusing on the things that they should be focusing on is actually by starting off with a nutrition audit. This is something that you could try to do for yourself, but basically the way that we do this is we start off by having them track their food for about 5 days, just passively tracking their food to see where they're starting. Okay. Because that gives me an instant answer key as far as what foods they need to be focusing on. What prohormone nutrition foods are missing from their diet that we need to incorporate so that their body can start working for them, not against them. Okay. That's the best, most direct way to do it so that we can quickly see what needs to be added into their diet. Okay. And the other thing a nutrition audit shows me is someone's eating style. I don't like the word meal plan because that's not real life. No one lives life in a bubble, but you should be eating in a way that fits your desired eating style. And again, that's going to help help this whole approach be something that sticks. All right. So let's get into it. Prohormone nutrition. What foods make your body work for you? So I'm going to show you guys, excuse me, specifically what foods will help your body work for you, not against you, improve your body composition, health, and performance. Take a sip of water here. So first of all, these are foods that you guys may not be aware of, but they are definitely foods that exist. Thermogenic foods. Okay. The advantage of incorporating these types of foods in your diet is that you will be able to burn more calories without exercise. And that means saving time, not having to spend more time in the gym to burn off calories. Okay. There's something called the thermic effect of food. And this is referring to the amount of energy it takes your body to digest, absorb, and metabolize food. Not all foods are created equal, as you'll see down here. Okay. Because your body burns off calories during the process of digestion, this contributes to fat loss. Okay. There are calories lost in digestion, and you can leverage that to lose more body fat. Again, these are not calories burned in the gym. So this is saving you time if you can learn how to eat more thermogenic foods, because they will burn off more calories automatically. And like I said, not all foods are created equal. Some foods that are not very thermogenic burn off only 3% of calories when you eat them, while other foods can burn up to 35% of calories during digestion. That is a significant amount of calories. So imagine if you've got a diet, and here's the thing, you could be eating really healthy foods, but not be eating very thermogenic foods. So maybe you have a really healthy diet, but you're only burning off 3% of your calories through thermogenesis because you don't know what foods to choose. Meanwhile, if you shift over into eating more thermogenic foods, you could burn up to 35% of the calories that you're eating off automatically through digestion. Okay. And you will absolutely notice that kind of shift. I'm going to show you guys an example actually of a client that I took from eating one way to including more thermogenic foods, and his calories stayed the same, but he was able to burn body fat just by eating more thermogenic foods. Okay. A lot of foods that are more thermogenic than others are going to tend to be high protein and high fiber foods. Okay. And also whole foods in general. Those foods will help you burn more calories through digestion. All right, next we have muscle supporting foods. I know you guys have heard me talk a lot about not wanting to lose muscle as you lose body fat, and that's absolutely important. But your body cannot retain muscle, even if you're doing things like lifting weights, which is great, and that's absolutely essential for a toned body composition. If you are not giving your body the fuel that it needs and the right types of food that it needs to rebuild your muscles after you work out in the gym, you're going to feel bad, and you're also not going to look very good because your body doesn't have the raw materials it needs to build and support lean muscle. Okay. When you eat muscle supporting foods, the advantage you get is you get the toning effect. So again, when you're talking about losing weight and not becoming skinny fat, you want to be eating muscle supporting foods. All right. The scientific word for building muscle is protein synthesis. This is a real thing that happens in your body, and your body can't do it without the right foods. So when we work out, if you looked on a microscopic level at what's happening to your muscle fibers, if you're working out properly and you're using a strategic routine, you will be tearing down muscle fibers on a microscopic level. You would literally see small tears in your muscle fibers when you lift weights. And that is actually a good thing, as long as you're eating the right nutrition, because when you do, specific foods contain the raw materials our body needs to be able to repair those little muscle tears and then rebuild them bigger and stronger than they were before. Okay. That is how you grow and retain lean muscle. It also contributes to strength and agility. So if you want to be someone who can move well as you get older, or even just now, you absolutely need to be supporting your muscles. Okay. And also another benefit of having muscle on your body, besides it looking really good, is that more muscle burns more calories. So you're going to have a better metabolism if you can retain muscle as you lose weight. Okay. And a lot of this comes from lean protein. Lean proteins are great. You could also eat fattier proteins. You just end up with a lot more calories when you eat fatty proteins. So it's something you want to be aware of. Third, you want to be eating ghrelin suppressing foods. Okay. And I know we already touched on ghrelin. So as you can imagine, it's really important as you lose weight, especially if you are looking to achieve a very low body fat percentage. This is something that has to be managed. And again, whether you have a lot of weight to lose or you're just trying to lose the last 10 to 15 pounds, you have to be eating enough of these foods in order to sort of override the survival mechanisms that are built into your body to resist weight loss, to resist fat loss, right? Like I mentioned, if you're eating enough of these foods, what the advantage is that you get from them is you get automatic portion control. Okay. So when you're eating a lot of ghrelin suppressing foods, again, ghrelin is our hunger hormone, and you're able to override that as you lose weight. So, also, just from a comfort standpoint, if you go back and listen to a lot of the testimonials from my clients, they'll say, I wasn't hungry, especially compared to when I was trying to lose weight before or trying to get lean before. I felt like I was chronically about to eat my arm off because I was so hungry, and eating more ghrelin suppressing foods will help your hunger be lower. So the process is also a lot more pleasant when you're doing it this way. How this works too is that certain foods will slow the gastric rate of emptying, and all this means is how quickly food leaves your stomach. So If you are slowing the gastric rate of emptying by choosing the right foods, you will feel fuller longer and you'll eat less automatically. Okay. Way easier to do this and eat more of these foods than to try to willpower your way to the end and just restrict until you hit your weight loss goals. Okay. Maybe some of you have heard of the drug Ozempic. It's starting to be a really big deal. People need to know that there's nothing magical about it. It just slows the gastric rate of emptying and also comes with a host of side effects and often stops working before people hit their weight loss goals, and also does not support lean muscle. So the truth is it causes more problems than it will help you. But yeah, the other thing to know is that you can create this effect by just eating the right foods. Okay. Often high protein and high fiber foods have this effect of suppressing ghrelin. So those are the ones that you would want to aim to eat more of in your diet. And then lastly, we've got blood sugar stabilizing foods. Okay. The advantage with these is performance and health. As you can imagine, if you have better blood sugar control and more stable blood sugar levels, you reduce your chance for type 2 diabetes. And if you have it, it improves your symptoms. Okay. Blood sugar stabilizing foods can reduce post-meal glucose levels of over 50%. That is a very high impact on reducing your blood sugar spikes, okay, just by selecting the right foods. Also, and what you may not know about managing your blood sugar is that you tend to respond better to high stress situations when you have more managed blood sugar. Okay. So if you are an executive and you have a high stress lifestyle and you constantly have to perform and also help people, manage people's emotions, and you're managing people all day long, it will absolutely benefit you to have more stable blood sugar levels. Okay. It also improves your mood, reduces cravings, increases mental alertness. So again, from a performance perspective, this is a good thing. From an energy perspective, it also reduces your afternoon crashes. If you're someone who notices, you have a little bit of coffee in the morning, seem to be doing great, but then you crash in the afternoon, a lot of times that's because of dysregulated blood sugar. Okay. Also, they've done a lot of studies on people with blood sugar, again, people who have well-managed blood sugar, and then also people who have unstable blood sugar levels. People who are not managing their blood sugar very well tend to crave more food and overeat more, and also tend to crave high calorie and really greasy, unhealthy foods. Interesting, the studies that they have on blood sugar. So if you can manage your blood sugar and stabilize it by selecting the right foods, you're going to put yourself at a big advantage here. Okay. Fibrous veggies and also lean proteins are very good at helping stabilize your blood sugar levels. I say fibrous veggies and not just high fiber foods because there are a lot of high fiber foods out there. Some of them are heavier in calories. So I would say fruits and veggies are probably some of the best options to choose. All right. So hopefully that was some helpful info for you guys. Maybe you didn't know all of that before. But yeah, again, the idea is that you are focusing on more foods that get your body to work for you, not against you. The process of weight loss is not the same for everybody. We want to make sure we're going about it in a very strategic way. Okay. Wanted to show you guys an example of what Prohormone Nutrition looks like in action. So this is one of my clients I've been working with. His name is Paul. He is a consultant, and his goal was to get down to 175, which is for him dropping the last 12 pounds. He wanted better mobility and also muscle definition. Okay. So for him, he's one of those guys where he just couldn't figure out how to get the rest of the weight off in a way that also gave him better muscle definition. So for a lot of times it's just getting the last bit of the weight off. Okay. And he had already tried some things on his own, like diet changes, high intensity interval training, and also weightlifting. He's a really active guy, plays a ton of tennis. So, it's not like he wasn't moving. It's not like he didn't know anything about healthy versus unhealthy food. He just needed a more strategic plan to be able to go the rest of the way. Okay. So using Prohormone Nutrition and the foods that I just sort of walked you through. Again, like I said, the first step to doing this correctly to make sure that you're spending time focusing on the foods you need to be focusing on and not somebody else's foods that they should be focusing on, you really need to start with a nutrition audit. So this is what this looks like. Paul recorded his food for 5 days. And then I went over it with him and I looked at it with him. And the biggest thing that jumped out at me where I saw Prohormone Nutrition was missing was, again, this is for him, not somebody else, but for him, was protein. Okay. For him, that was the biggest shift that I wanted to make first so that he could start seeing results immediately. Now, this is interesting, and you guys need to know this. Looking at the foods he was eating, if I was sort of more of a generic nutritionist, I might have come over here and said, oh my gosh, you have to stop, drinking. Don't ever drink alcohol ever again. You have some pasta down here. We're going to cut out carbs, right? You got some processed foods in here. We're going to cut out all processed foods. It doesn't mean that we can't go ahead and optimize more within his diet. Okay. It's great to make healthy shifts. However, this was the biggest impact thing we could adjust right off the bat. And so that's where we focused first. For executives, you guys, you're not going to be able to jump through 30 hoops. Okay. The idea is not to micromanage your diet. It's to go for the things that will have the biggest impact on your body composition. Okay. Because you only have so many things you're going to be able to focus on within a given week. So for him, that was the biggest shift for us to make. I want to show you guys what that looks like. So another thing, like I mentioned, you want to be able to do these shifts and these tweaks within your current diet. So after we talked through the foods that he enjoyed eating, after I looked at his nutrition audit and I looked at the foods that he was already eating and including in his diet, we decided one of the easiest ways for him to increase his protein was by including more yogurt and more chicken. And we also have other options on there, but these were two of the things that were staples for him. So I gave him great options for yogurt, great options for chicken. Found out he actually likes Costco. So I gave him a Costco list of my top picks for high protein items from Costco. This is the kind of stuff that you guys need to be looking out for as far as resources if you're an executive. You guys don't need to be spending more time Googling, where do I get more protein? Give me a list of, low carb items. You don't need to be spending more time researching how to make these shifts. You guys need plug and play solutions like this. So anyway, that was one of the things we did for him. Talked about how to increase protein within his current diet. And then I want you to see the effects of this. Okay. So this is the difference between a nutritionist that is just telling you to remove all bad food from your diet or just cutting calories versus eating more foods that will help your body work for you. Okay. So we included actually more protein for him. That was the biggest shift we made within the first few weeks. And if you look at this, again, this is very data based. I use logic and data and science because your body is very logical, very logical. So as we're going about this process, I'm teaching you guys there's data to track so that this can be very straightforward. Anyway, if you look at his calories, this was week 1 where we did his nutrition audit. So he was just tracking his food. This is week 2 and he lost 4 pounds. Now I want you to see something here. If we're just looking at calories, right? This is a calorie chart. This is a protein chart down here. If we're looking at calories, his calories were about the same between week 1 and week 2. It wasn't about cutting calories for him. Okay. It was about adding in more protein. So here's week 1, no weight loss here. Week 2, he dropped 4 pounds because we increased his protein. You guys see that? Hopefully this is making sense. Calories stayed the same. We increased protein because for him, again, I saw that that's how we could get the biggest advantage from the foods he was eating was by increasing more protein. That's what was missing. Okay. And this is just this is just a glimpse. He is still in progress. This is just a 7-week glance at how this is working for him. But he's dropped 10 pounds in 7 weeks. So he's going to be at his goals very soon. This is also including a trip to Vegas. He currently has a shoulder injury from tennis. But again, he's on track to hit his weight loss goals while creating better muscle definition. Okay. And this is from adding in the right foods, not focusing on taking away every bit of processed food or slashing his calories down to nothing. Okay. Just wanted to show you guys at least one more example of this. There's lots of examples, but this is Daniel. And again, he was wanting to see abs. He had never, been in this kind of shape before, but he knew that he could do it with the right plan. So for him, when we actually first started working together, he was eating extremely clean. He had gone paleo, was eating extremely clean, working out a lot. And we were able to, again, include Prohormone Nutrition, help him eat more of the right foods. And we were able to manage his hunger better. So he was less hungry as soon as we started using this process. And also his physique just totally changed. So for him, we included a lot of ghrelin suppressing foods to keep his hunger low. That's something that he was struggling with. And we also included a lot of muscle supporting foods. Okay. So after he dropped 40 pounds, he definitely didn't lose any muscle. If anything, he gained lean muscle, right? And this is the kind of transformation that you want to see. Okay. And he has a family too. So, this was while including family food, and for him, Sonic Blasts were a treat that he wanted to be able to keep in his diet, and we were able to do that. Okay. All right. So just as a quick recap, again, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Let's see here. So generic restrictive diets rely on calorie cutting to work, and they're therefore not sustainable in the long run. They don't work with your lifestyle. They create rebound weight gain and a worse physique over time. Not good. Prohormone nutrition is an approach that focuses on eating more of the right foods that help your body work for you, not against you. It's less stressful and also more flexible to fit your lifestyle, so there's no off-limit foods. It's also ideal for traveling and for eating out. By strategically choosing the right foods, you can lower hunger for sustained fat loss. You can balance your blood sugar levels for better energy, support lean muscle for a better body composition, and decrease your risk of type 2 diabetes for better health. Again, you can gain a huge advantage from knowing how to choose the right foods and just focus on eating more of them. And before you begin any of this, again, a nutrition audit is the best way to make sure you are focusing on the most impactful foods for you to be focusing on. Focusing on the wrong foods will create poor results, So if you're focusing on ghrelin reducing foods, but you should really be focused on, muscle supporting foods, it's not going to be the best effect. Maybe for you, supporting your blood sugar levels is the most important thing. So you just need to know where to start. And again, the best way to do that is through a nutrition audit. Okay. Again, if you guys have questions, want to go back to my screen over here, you are welcome to drop them down below. If a nutrition audit is something that you want me to walk through with you, I will drop a link below this training. If you just look in the description, wherever you're watching this, you can click on that link and we can talk about how we can do a nutrition audit. Again, just so that you know where to start. You can also go to mollymakesmuscle.com. There's plenty of links there. As I was sending out invites for this masterclass, again, hopefully it was helpful for you guys. I was asking the people that were coming if they had any questions. And one of the questions that I got from someone off of LinkedIn, he works for a consulting company. He said he was nearing 50 and he was basically at the same weight and able to lift as much as he was able to when he was 20 years younger. So doing pretty well, except over recent years, he was noticing that his metabolism had slowed down. He said he wanted to take diet to the next level and maintain weight and strength. He also eats out a lot, which is common for executives, and wanted to know how to navigate that. Something I wanted to mention, and this is really more something that I'll cover on day 3, is if you feel like things are getting harder as you're getting older, so you notice that you retain more weight, you're gaining belly fat, and again, maybe cutting things out of your diet isn't working like it used to, you need to recognize that hormones are a huge part of it. So first of all, if you're not using Prohormone Nutrition, and you're not, eating more of the foods that we talked about today, that is a great place to start. But there's also other hormones that you need to be aware of. I'm going to talk a lot about cortisol on day 3. Cortisol is your stress hormone. So knowing how to manage that properly is very important if you really want that next level physique and you want to know how to lower your body fat and retain lean muscle. It's very important because cortisol is essentially an anti-fitness hormone. So if your cortisol levels are chronically high and you're not managing stress, you are going to be more likely to waste muscle, retain water weight, gain body fat specifically around your midsection. So if you're someone who wants a tighter, more defined waist, you need to manage cortisol. And also cortisol and testosterone are inversely related. And as you get older, if you're a guy, testosterone is naturally going to drop by about 1% each year after age 30. So if you add on top of that, it doesn't mean that you're going to totally fall out of shape, but you need to be aware of that. And you need a strategic plan to counteract the negative effects of declining testosterone. And you also need to manage cortisol if you're wanting to be in excellent shape. So again, that's more of a day 3 thing, but I did want to touch on that question. And as far as managing cortisol, the problem with doing research on your own is if you Google things like how to manage cortisol, Google is going to tell you what, some average person might have time to do. Like it'll say, take a walk, take a nap, do some yoga, right? But if you are an executive, you probably don't have time to do things like that. So in day 3, I'm going to go over some supplement strategies that you can use to lower your cortisol and to manage stress better so that you can, again, get a really nice physique and not spend so much time on strategies that don't work the executive lifestyle. So anyway, Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully that was helpful. I hope you learned something. Again, if you guys have more questions, I will come back to this and I will make sure that I get everybody's questions answered. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them down below. Again, if you are curious about what a nutrition audit would look like for you, I will also put a link in the description below this video. And can't wait for day 2. If you are coming to day 2, something that would be good to bring is what your current fitness routine is like. Again, day 2 is going to be a time condensed training formula. So how can you get better results in less time spent in the gym? And I know a lot of people, I would say almost all of the people that I end up working with are already in some kind of gym routine and it's not giving them the results that they're looking for. So if you're currently in a routine and you have some way of writing it down or showing me what that routine is, bring that to day 2 and we'll go over it tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your night.